What if I told you the future of the Green Bay Packers defense is already being built right now, but most fans are completely missing it? And what if this isn't just another rebuild, but a full-blown identity change that could define the next era of Packers football? Because right now, something is happening in Green Bay that doesn't look flashy, doesn't make loud headlines, but could completely transform how this defense performs in the NFL. And the craziest part? Most fans won't realize it until it's already too late. So stay with me till the end, because what you're about to see explains why the Packers defense might be on the edge of something special or something risky. Let's start with the truth. The Green Bay Packers defense is not finished. It's not fully stable, and it's definitely not predictable yet, but that's exactly why it's interesting. Because according to multiple NFL analysts and team direction reports, the Packers are shifting toward a modern hybrid defensive system, one that focuses less on fixed positions and more on flexibility, speed, and disguise. In simple words, this is no longer a traditional line-up and react defense. This is becoming a confuse the quarterback before the snap defense, and that change matters more than people think. Because in today's NFL, offenses are faster, smarter, and more explosive than ever. If your defense is predictable, you are already losing before the play begins. And that's why Green Bay is changing everything. Now let's talk about why this change had to happen. For the past few seasons, one issue kept showing up with the Packers' defense: inconsistency. One week they looked dominant, the next week they struggled to generate pressure. And in modern NFL football, inconsistency is deadly, because elite quarterbacks don't need many chances. They just need one mistake. And when fans discuss this online, especially on platforms like Reddit and Twitter, you see the same themes repeating. Defense disappears in big moments. Pass rush is too inconsistent. Secondary gets exposed under pressure. Too much dependence on individual talent. Now, whether you agree or not, the pattern is clear. This defense needed structure evolution. Not just better players, but a better system. And that's exactly what's happening now. Here's where things get exciting. The Packers are now building a defense that is no longer based on rigid roles. Instead, it's based on versatility. And this changes everything. Because in this new system, defensive linemen don't just rush the passer. They can shift, and stunt linebackers aren't just tacklers. They can blitz or drop into coverage. Safeties are not just deep defenders. They can move into the box like linebackers. This creates something very important: confusion for the offense. And confusion is the most powerful weapon in modern defense. Because when a quarterback can't read pre-snap alignment, he hesitates. And hesitation in the NFL equals mistakes. This is the foundation of what the Packers are building. Not just a strong defense, but an unpredictable one. Now let's talk about personnel. Because even the best system fails without the right players. And the Packers are clearly building around youth, speed, and flexibility. The current defensive identity is leaning heavily toward young edge talent athletic linebackers developing secondary players' rotational defensive depth. And this is important because young players adapt faster to new systems. Veteran-heavy defenses often struggle with scheme changes because habits are already built. But young defenders, they grow inside the system. They don't resist change, they become it. And that's what Green Bay is banking on. Now let's zoom out. Across NFL discussions, analysts are split on the Packers' defense. Some believe the foundation is strong, others think it still lacks consistency. But almost everyone agrees on one thing: the upside is real. Fan discussions across platforms like Reddit often sound like this. If the pass rush improves, this defense becomes dangerous. Too many young pieces, but potential is there. Secondary needs time, but flashes are elite. And that's the key word: flashes. Because flashes mean potential. But potential only matters if it turns into consistency. And that's where the next phase becomes critical. Now let's slow down and talk about reality. Every defensive transformation comes with risk. And for the Packers, there are three major concerns. First, communication breakdowns. New systems mean new responsibilities. One mistake in coverage can turn into a touchdown instantly. Second, overcomplexity. If the scheme becomes too complicated, players hesitate instead of reacting. Third, development time. Young defenses don't become elite overnight. It takes time. And in the NFL, time is not always guaranteed because fans expect results immediately. Media expects improvement instantly, and opponents exploit weaknesses fast. So the question becomes, can Green Bay survive the growing pains of becoming great? But here's where the story shifts. Because every great defense in NFL history has one thing in common: a turning point, a moment where everything clicks, a game where communication improves, a game where pressure finally connects, a game where confusion turns into control. And if Green Bay is building what it looks like they are building, that moment is coming. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, but it's coming. And when it does, faster in reaction defenses like this don't just stop teams. They force mistakes, they create turnovers, they change games without needing perfect execution every play. And that is the vision Green Bay is chasing. Now we also have to be honest. If this system doesn't click, the problems become obvious. Blown coverages, inconsistent pressure communication breakdowns, and struggles against top-tier offenses, because complexity without execution is weakness. And in the NFL, weakness gets exposed quickly. That's why this season, or this phase, is so important. It's not just development, it's survival testing. So here's the truth about the Green Bay Packers defense. It is not finished, it is not perfect, and it is not proven yet, but it is changing. And that change is the most important part. Because right now, the Packers are building something that could go in two directions. Either a top-tier modern NFL defense, or a learning phase that takes longer than expected. But one thing is certain, the future of the Green Bay Packers defense is no longer a question. It's already in motion. And now the entire NFL is watching to see what happens next.